What's up, guys? Welcome to Rough Draft Research. Just so you know, this is a clip from a longer episode, the Year 3 player, stud, starter, hold, and bust. But this is just the quarterbacks and tight end position. If you'd like to see the whole episode, you can go to that. Or if you're looking for a specific guy, go down to the description below and boom. Now on over to Darther, who can explain what this episode is all about.
We're going to look at just a little bit of the performance from year 1 to year 2 and what we can expect coming into this year. It's going to be pretty exciting because, you know, some of these guys are some pretty badass dudes.
Yeah.
You know, top tier at the positions. So without further ado, shall we take it off the top?
All right, so we got two tight ends back to back here. First, TJ Hockenson finished 5th last year. I think the Lions might run the ball more than they did, than we're used to seeing them do. Jesus. But I'm still not that scared about it because Hockenson is by far Jared Goff's best pass catcher up in Detroit right now.
Oh, yeah.
I think the dude's a stud. And if you can get him on your team, you're going to be good for a while because I like tight ends.
Yeah.
So
Studly as fuck. I mean, seriously, I honestly think TJ Hockenson might be the best player in this draft if you ask me right now. Because over the past 3 years, there's only been 3 guys that had 50-plus yards, and it was our 50-plus targets. Kenny Golladay, Amendola, and Marvin Jones. And, like, those guys are all gone now.
Yeah.
So TJ Hockenson inherits a brand new number 1 role in this offense. He's got Jared Goff, who has proven that he has a tendency to utilize the tight end very well. Mm-hmm. And then you got a new head coach in Dan Campbell that was a tight ends coach in New Orleans. So I agree with you. Anthony Lynn comes in as the OC there. So maybe that means the running game has to go up. But I think also the passing game options mean that the running game has to go up. But when it comes to the red zone, I think you can see a big bump. He's got 2 touchdowns rookie year, 6 touchdowns second year. I think he flirts with 8 plus this year. And I think he's good. He's good for tight end number 4 or 5 on the year
for a while. Yeah.
And he was tight end 5 last year.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, Kyle Pitts throws everything off because you have to. Who all do you have to bump back one? But I think he could outdo Pitts easily this year.
No, I'm 100% with you. I really like Hockenson, and he had 96 targets last year according to PFF. So they do theirs a little differently, but I don't know what number you have.
You know, I didn't. I only put receptions.
Okay.
And games played. So he missed 4 games as a rookie.
Yeah.
He had that injury, and so that slowed him down. But he played all 16.
Yeah.
Last year, played 16.
And the reason I brought up the targets is because I could see 96 is a lot, and I could see that going down a little bit, but I don't see the production going down, so I don't think it matters that much.
Okay. I think he's locked in for 96 again. The way. Yeah. Wow. I mean, yeah, it just depends on how much Swift is split out and what they do with all that. But I think that, I don't think they have a choice. He's reliable. He's pretty fucking talented. So
I'm with you.
He's a stud.
I think another stud coming in Noah Fant. Finished as the 9th tight end last year, and he was hurt pretty much all year. He didn't sit out, but he was always dealing with some kind of nagging injury. But this guy, it comes down to quarterback play. I think he could be better than Hockenson possibly if he had a better quarterback. And that's really all I have to say. Like, Denver did not draft a good enough quarterback for Fant, but I still think he's somebody you need to go get because he's 24 and he's a beast. I'm into it.
Yeah, I feel like I think I had a rant about John Elway here, but I'll just I know it's here somewhere. I don't know where it ended up. But anyway, I think that Cortland Sutton being healthy affects his target share. Jerry Jeudy, fuck, what are you going to do? It's just a lot of mouths to feed and a really, really talented offensive skill position setup with a kind of a sketchy quarterback that I don't think is going to be intelligent enough to utilize the opportunities that Fant is going to have. Not to throw shade on his intelligence, but I mean, like, he's not doing multi-reads and breaking down the coverage well enough to be successful as a quarterback, and we'll talk about him later on. But I have Noah Fant as a starter, and I think that tight end 9 on yours is pretty impressive, and I think that's kind of a ceiling in my opinion. I that'd be cool if he did better than Hockenson, but I think that if you have Sutton and Jeudy out there, it's going to be too much of a draw.
Hard. Yeah, that's fair. Kyler Murray finishes the QB2. I say he's a stud. 24.4 points per game. Rushing is obviously what helps him. He had 822 yards and 11 touchdowns on the ground last year.
Yeah.
Just insane. So I don't really want to talk about Murray very much because we all know what he is.
Okay.
When are we going to see Cliff Kingsbury truly unlock Kyler Murray's passing? Because wasn't that what he came in to do? Wasn't that his whole thing?
Yeah. It's the spread offense. What are you going to do with the spread offense? Have your quarterback rush constantly? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I am getting worn out on the Cliff Kingsbury experience.
Yeah.
I think Cliff Kingsbury peaked at the 2020 draft.
Yeah.
At home.
That was a sick picture.
That's ridiculous.
Man.
But
dude got fired from his college job and then got an NFL coaching job.
Oh, no. I think he also peaked. I read an article, or not an article.
I guess he left.
I read a little thing earlier that he called Sean McVay before one of their games to get sideline passes because they're boys, I guess. And he got them, and turns out it was because he met a European Instagram model that day and wanted to take her onto the field. So shoot your shot, bro. I like that.
Priorities, dude. Love that.
He's a schemer, man. Too bad that offensive scheme hasn't
it has
panned
not
out for
translated
Kyler.
the way it should. Like
Kyler should be the number one.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Pat Mahomes is awesome, but
he
his
doesn't
ankles
rush
can't
the way
hold up
Kyler really does. Yeah.
So I just thought he came into an iffy situation, and then he got hooked up with Hopkins.
Yeah, that helps.
And then now he's got AJ Green. He's got Rondell Moore. Things are looking up. But the interesting thing is, like you're saying, his passing yards went from 3,700 to 3,900. When you add DeAndre Hopkins to your offense, you'd expect more than a 200-yard boost. But I don't know if 11 rushing touchdowns is sustainable. You got the TD vulture, fucking James Conner in the house now. So, I mean, not that Kenyon Drake was just leaving him on the field. He was getting his in the red zone.
Yeah.
But we can move on.
Dwayne Haskins.
I cut him out too.
Is there
I cut him.
Is there a world where you hold him being the backup in Pittsburgh?
No, because he didn't show anything in Washington.
True.
I think there's a world where he.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
where he
maybe you're
Jameis
higher
Winston's
on
his way back.
him than me, but like
Ohio State, baby.
I'll hold a guy if I at least saw something that I liked from them on the other team when they went. So, like a Sam Darnold is kind of an extreme example, but you saw things when he was on the Jets that made you go, man, I see why they took this guy. I see why he was good, and he has these features. And so in Carolina, I'm super high on him. He might be good. I didn't see anything watching Dwayne Haskins with Washington that I could hold on to and be like, oh, he might be worth a stash as a backup to Ben Roethlisberger. Other than the fact that he's probably going to start in a year when Ben retires.
Yeah,
But I feel like they're going to be going out of their way to replace him.
Didn't Mason Rudolph get a year contract?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
To me, I mean, Haskins obviously is not a NFL caliber player.
No.
But I also think that he came in on Jay Gruden's last year to an organization that seems like it was being mismanaged pretty heavily at the time. And
Yeah,
then he
but
comes in with a new coach that doesn't have the patience for his immaturity is what I'm seeing.
But that's a huge part of it, though. So now, like, Ron Rivera just says no to this guy because he's kind of a dick. And he also wasn't good. Is his attitude going to change now that he's in Pittsburgh? Mike Tomlin famously doesn't handle locker rooms very well, as good as they are. I mean, the Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell shit got way out of hand.
Yeah.
Like, I like Mike Tomlin as a coach. Don't get it twisted.
I love Mike Tomlin.
But that whole situation went haywire.
Yeah.
And so, like...
he's not alone, and I mean, that wasn't all him.
No, I don't think it's his fault.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, he's the figurehead, though, that you want to... So the Steelers didn't handle that well, so I don't think they're going to be the team that changes Dwayne Haskins' attitude.
Yeah, but I mean, going from being a first-round pick to being
backup? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, at some point, I remember myself when I was 22...
No,
right?
Yeah, I 100% get it. Like, I'm not saying that I would be any better.
Exactly.
But I just, like, if I'm looking at this from a purely analytical standpoint, I'm not going to, like, get behind this guy.
Yeah, he's a bust. He's a fucking bust.
Yeah.
I feel like I should go get my jersey. I got the card right here. The 311 Irv Smith Jr. Let's go.
Yeah, man. Irv Smith Jr. I can't get excited about this guy. I'm sorry, AJ.
Boo.
I'm so sorry. Kyle Rudolph was all mad about all this shit, and it's funny, Rudolph, because even the red nose version of you still had to share with a bunch of other reindeer. So get used to that because you're playing on a team with Evan Ingram now. Have fun. What's up, man? Justin Jefferson owns this team, right?
Are we talking?
Adam Thielen is, Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen are one of the premier wide receiver duos in the NFL.
Did you watch the last 3 games of the year?
Oh, yeah.
Come on, man. Red zone all day, every day.
Okay, man. You think so?
Justin Jefferson is not a red zone target.
Adam Thielen is.
Yep.
Irv Smith Jr. is. And
Where'd you have him finish last year?
21st.
Yep. Okay.
But I mean, as a backup tight end to Kyle Rudolph, right?
Yeah.
Line's better. The offense is going to run through Dalvin Cook and Justin.
Who's going to take targets away from the tight end position?
I'm not nearly as hyped as AJ is about Irv Smith, obviously, but I do like him as like a possible tight end 1.5, I guess, like top 15 guy. I mean, Kyle Rudolph's gone. He had 41 targets last year. I should have written down how many Kyle Rudolph had, but you would assume that he's going to get a lot of Kyle Rudolph's.
Yeah.
If not, because it's not like Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen didn't get a fuck ton of targets already.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't think they're going to get much more than they got last year. So I like him, but no, I'm not thinking he's going to be the next big thing at tight end.
Nah.
So you said top 15 tight end.
Yeah, but that's like after the first 6 tight ends.
I have him as a starter. Don't get me wrong.
Okay. I think after the first 6 tight ends, though, anything after that, it's kind of like a crapshoot. That's not that good.
You have to start a tight end.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, if I can pull it up.
I'll make a bet right now. Top 8 tight end.
I'll take that bet.
Yeah, I would take that bet too.
So my closing notes on him was, I will believe it when I see it. Dalvin got your targets, dog. Don't get Rudolph about it.
Oh, my goodness.
All right, that's fine. I see where you're going wrong here, so we'll just move on.
I would say, okay.
I see where you're going.
Okay, hey, right here. 10 touchdowns.
Okay.
What's the bet, though?
Pride.
What do we bet? Oh, just pride.
15 fab.
Oh, why don't we just bet air? God.
I'll do a 30-pack of Millies.
I'll do that, too.
Dude, yeah, there you go. That's
right.
a good bet. I want a 30-pack of Millies.
I'll make it MGD.
Okay. Fuck, good luck finding a 30-pack of MGD. You're going to have to drive to
I won't have to.
Milwaukee. Another undrafted fella, huh?
All right, so Daniel Jones, boy, this guy turns the ball over a lot. Had 12 touchdowns combined between passing and rushing, and 21 turnovers if you include interceptions and fumbles.
I do.
It seems like it would be a do or die year for Jones with all of his shiny new toys and Galladay, Tony, Rudolph. But you know who I actually really want to talk about as being in a do or die year? Fucking Dave Gettleman. This clown. The Giants had the worst pass protecting line in the NFL according to PFF. Dead last, 32. How did they address that issue? They let Kevin Zeitler walk, who was their highest rated pass blocker. And then they didn't sign anybody in free agency. And then they didn't draft a single offensive lineman in their entire draft. They didn't draft one. And then when they asked Dave Gettleman about it, he said, and I quote, "I don't think that the offensive line was a position of need. I think you guys think it's a bigger deal than we do."
Good.
Are you fucking kidding? Am I going insane? They allowed 50 sacks last year, which was tied for second. I know we're a fantasy podcast, but that directly affects Daniel Jones and all these Giants' offensive weapons efficiency. If he's getting sacked 50 times a year, and you got rid of your best blocker, and you had money, it makes my head explode.
Yeah, they did everything wrong. The only thing they have going for them is Kenny Golladay, Kadarius Toney.
I love those additions. I really do. It fits their offense, but why are you just ignoring the offensive line entirely?
No, I'm with you. I mean, there's nothing we can do about that. But
No.
I have to point out that having Saquon back and adding those two weapons on the offense should, at the very least, bring him to competent, and I have him as a hold.
No, I think he's a hold too. Much better than the next quarterback we'll talk about, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But no, I think he is a hold, but I just think they're doing him dirty, and I think Dave Gettleman might get his ass fired.
Yeah. You know what? Here's a segue into Drew Lock, who I have as a hold. I mean, unless you want to really talk about the Giants some more.
No, you're good.
So for me, I was just going to read my notes directly because there's nothing to do with Drew Lock. It's just I say they're beating a dead Bronco. Pretty much just said, "Fuck you, Elway, you're fired." Because give me a fucking break, man. I get that this fucking division is a really difficult passing division, but the reason for that is the quarterbacks on the opposing teams.
Yeah.
So getting Patrick Surtain, congratulations. Now you can watch him try to defend some of the best quarterback passing in the fucking NFL when you could have addressed that position yourself. Justin Fields was staring you in the fucking eyeballs. You've got fucking Sutton, Fant, Judy, Melvin Gordon, and Javonte Williams, not to mention Tim Patrick and KJ Hamler, who are fucking talented NFL players, just rotting on your team. And you're going to fucking come in with Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater?
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me, John? You are a quarterback.
John's not even the GM anymore.
He's still pulling strings, dude.
I think he's on the way. I think he wanted to leave, and they wanted him in. That's why they got the Patton guy. But no, I'm with everything else you said 100% because it doesn't make any sense. Take Justin Fields. What's the unless they actually thought they were getting Aaron Rodgers, which in my opinion was a foolish thought. It didn't make any sense from the get-go. But no, I'm with you.
Yeah.
And as far as your Drew Lock being a hold, I say Drew Lock is a bust. He is bad, man. He ranked 42nd in catchable pass rate. 42nd. I'm no math wizard, but there's only 32 NFL teams. So there were 10 quarterbacks that weren't even starters that were better than Drew Lock at throwing catchable passes, which is the job. Like, that's the job, right? Like,
yeah, and I'm guessing one of them was Teddy Bridgewater. So.
I'm sure he was.
I'm also going to mention the new GM, George Patton, Vikings assistant general manager from 2012 to 2014, and then assistant general manager and vice president of player personnel from 2015 to 2020. You know who they drafted in that era?
Teddy Bridgewater.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes, sir.
I have Drew Lock as a bust.
One more thing about Drew Lock, because it's not just his catchable pass rate, which was legendarily bad in my opinion for a starting quarterback, but the only completion percentage category where he cracked the top 32 was play action, and he was 27th.
Jesus, dude.
Like, that's the job. You throw the ball to the guys. That's the job, and that's the part that he sucks at. So we got Drew Sample, Uzma coming back. Dampens my enthusiasm for Sample, but he's worth watching, and I'll have him as a hold just in case.
Yeah, hold. It's a weak depth chart at tight end, but a pretty impressive one at wide receiver. I think this is an underrated wide receiver unit, which is weird to say.
I think Thaddeus Moss should be mentioned.
Okay, he is a second-year player and
Former teammate,
LSU North, Cincinnati. Yeah, I want to be excited about Drew Sample because he was a second-round pick for the Bengals, but I just don't see the magic.
No, I'm with you.
He's definitely finishing behind Irv Smith Jr.
Oh my God!
Another guy that's probably going to finish behind Irv Smith Jr. is Dawson Knox.
I don't know about that.
Sneaky.
I do. He didn't really have a great year. It made the Bills go get Jacob Hollister. I think it's Knox's job to lose, but I don't know. He only had 258 yards, 24 catches, and 3 touchdowns and 3 drops, and they only targeted him in the red zone 10 times. So they don't trust him in the red zone.
Yeah, but they did target the tight end position very heavily.
Yeah, but he's the starter there. So
but he missed 5 games, so he's struggling.
I guess that's fair.
But
I don't know.
It was the other guy from Cincinnati there, right? What was his name?
Croft.
Yeah, Tyler Croft.
Tyler Croft.
I mean, that's fair. Well, you're buying it more than I am.
Yeah, the Hollister thing is pretty cool. AJ really believes that connection's going to be strong. You know, the college
Former
connection.
college teammates.
But I called Russell Wilson and asked him about Hollister, and he didn't have much to say. So I'm pretty sure Knox is safe. You know, Fort Knox, safe as a motherfucker. So run that.
True. I actually like Dawson Knox. Not enough to pick him up off the waiver wire.
Yeah,
but
he's like that bait, dude.
I'm like optimistic. I would, if I was in a best ball league, he'd be like someone I'd maybe take in like
Well,
the
if you're
last
in a
round.
best ball league, you can fuck off.
This guy.
I got Mike Williams. I got Dawson Knox.
The best thing about a best ball league is you don't need to know who you got.
Ronald-
You literally don't do anything. You
Ronald
draft,
Jones.
and then it's like doing a mock draft, and then you're just like, oh, cool.
Well, I'll let you do the Jace Sternberger.
The only reason I wanted him on here is because I love Mercedes Lewis in Green Bay. Big dog. But
Eat him.
he's very old. He's got to retire eventually. And they really like Sternberger up there. But since I told you guys to put him on this, they've already come out and said that Matt LaFleur came out and said that Robert Tonyan was the most improved player since he got there, Matt LaFleur. So he wants to feature him more. So Robert Tonyan's breakout year last year may have just put the nail in the coffin for Sternberger. But Sternberger was a third-round pick, an athletic tight end that they liked a lot, but he just kept getting hurt. And now I think Robert Tonyan just swooped that job from him pretty hardcore. Which I'm fine with because Big Bob Tonyan is fucking sweet.
Yeah, man. It's hard to argue with the bloomin' Tonyan.
Well, there you have it.
Yeah.
That's it. Join
Those are
us
your
next week.
Third-year guys. Next week for the second-year guys.
Yeah, so that was third years, and we're kicking it. We're going in reverse second year, and it's all in the clear after that.
Well, we hope. Oh, there goes headphones. Yeah. Hey, Rough Draft Preachers, thank you guys so much. Thanks for sticking around with us. Scary Terry. Thank you so much.
Peace out.
Sam giving up a first in the series.